Hey Dragonlings, welcome back to my channel. It's been a hot minute since I've done any kind of vlogs, so I figured I'd jump on here and do kind of an update, an overarching update of everything that's gone on from January 1st until now. I have been filming vlogs, but I haven't been editing them or putting them together or uploading them just because I've been super busy. And even when I haven't been super busy, I haven't felt like doing anything with the vlogs. They haven't taken priority. I do miss doing them though. I do enjoy doing them. They're actually one of my favorite videos to do. So I'm going to get back into doing them. But here's what I've been up to since the start of the year. If you watched, I think it was my last vlog, I was still in the midst of like planning. December, I took the whole month off from writing just to plan for this year. I pretty much tossed all those plans out the window. The main thing has been homeschooling. Homeschooling has been such a learning curve. Like, there is so much stuff I was not prepared for, and no amount of planning would have prepared me for it. I thought I had it made. I had found a homeschooling program that included all the subjects so I could get everything I needed for it in one place versus going to multiple different places for everything I needed for all the subjects. I had everything printed out. I thought that they would need for their lessons at least the first couple of weeks worth. I thought I had everything printed out for their like extracurricular classes, the science, the health, the history, the stuff like that. Nope, no I didn't. There was multiple things wrong with this whole plan. First was with the fact that I bought all these programs as like PDFs and I had to print everything out, which is not a big deal, except for had I realized I wasn't going to be starting when I originally planned. Originally, I was planning on starting the homeschooling back in, I think, September, October, November, one of those 3 months. I don't remember which one at this point. And my thought process was that I can buy the PDFs, I can print them off now, we can start next month kind of thing. Versus if I had paid for the physical versions, it would have cost a little more. I would have had to wait for them to get here, and I didn't know how long they would take to get there, and it would have taken at least 3 to 5 business weeks for it to get here. Had I realized I was not going to start school right away, honestly, I probably would have just done that. It wouldn't have been that much more expensive because I'm probably spending about the same amount since I'm printing everything out myself. Yeah. The other thing was that a lot of the stuff, like for math, came with extra activities and stuff that I'm having to print that stuff out for that I would have gotten in a physical form had I bought the physical components. You learn some after you lose them. I don't know what the actual quote is, but we're going to go with that. Then, the other thing is that it is a Christian-based program, which I don't mind. That does not bother me. But their first history lesson was to read Genesis 1 and 2 and then answer a bunch of questions about how God created the world. And that was their history lesson. And I do have a problem with that. I do not mind religion being a part of history and learning about it because that's just how it is. That's what happens. That's how it goes. But in my opinion, history is not religion, or religion is not history. She's over there dancing in her chair for some reason I haven't figured out. So I had a lot of problems with that. So I have pretty much tossed that history curriculum out the window, which means I needed to find a brand new history curriculum. Our first actual history lesson started on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I found a worksheet about Martin Luther King Jr. that I'm not even certain we actually did. We watched a bunch of videos for Martin Luther King Jr. You were supposed to be doing your schoolwork. We watched a bunch of videos about Martin Luther King Jr. I printed out the entire speech for I Have a Dream, and we watched the entire speech for the I Have a Dream. If you didn't know, that speech is about 17 to 20 minutes long, the full thing. And I think until then, I'd only ever heard the 3 minutes worth. That's the actual I Have a Dream part, and that's near the end of the speech. if you're interested in hearing the whole thing, I will include a link down in the description below, because I had never heard of it before until I was actually looking for it. And I have a physical copy of the words too, so got you covered there as well, if you want it. So I think that was actually our first history lesson, and then I went and found a program that's a bunch of different ancient civilizations, which is going to be fun for me to learn too, because the only ancient civilization I remember actually learning about in school was ancient Egypt, and we barely touched on that. And this program has like Stone Age, early humans before the Stone Age, ancient Egypt, China, Israel, India. It's got a whole bunch of countries I know I never went over that are all the ancient civilizations of these countries and continents and stuff. And I'm like, yes. So that's going to be our history lesson for this year. And then there was a couple other like extracurricular stuff that I just don't necessarily agree with, and I can't explain it. The creative writing one is the main one that hit home because I'm a writer, obviously, and I don't believe in putting writers in a little box and telling them that they can't go outside this box. And there was a lot of that in the creative writing lessons that go along with this particular homeschooling program, because it is Christian based. Are you done?
Yeah.
Go put that away. Go. Just in there purposely making noise, knowing that's the reason I had to get rid of my last vlog that I did. But yeah, like their first couple of lessons were to take sentences that were examples and make them good and beautiful, basically, which is not a big deal, except for like one of them was the fact that a child, the sentence literally read, I don't remember what the kid's name is, but for example, Mary was not listening to her mother. They had to take that sentence and make it good and beautiful. That was the lesson. There was a bunch of sentences like that. That was the entire lesson. So yeah, I do have a kind of problem with that. It's not necessarily bad for their age, but at the same time, yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that subject. So yeah, that's where we stand with the homeschooling. The other thing is that I'm going backwards a bit because my oldest does have a learning disability, and yet they kept passing her to each grade level that continued on because they didn't want her to be behind her other fellow students. But that also means she's not reading on her 4th grade reading level, and so she can't complete the 4th grade reading level work. Heck, she can't even complete some of the 3rd grade reading level work. So we're going backwards a bunch with as far as what she's doing schoolwork wise, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is actually what I wanted the school to do, and what I've asked for the past 3 or 4 years, since they were like, she has a learning disability, and they were refused because it would put her behind the other students. And I'm like, but she would know what she's doing. So that's what we're doing now. The other thing is the fact that once they learned she had a reading disability, they never made her try to read anything on her own. All of her work, a computer read to her or a teacher read it to her. And then she would answer stuff based on what she remembered instead of trying to reread anything. She has not been reading anything outside this house since they learned she had a learning disability 3 years ago. Everything has been read to her by a teacher or a computer. And so that's been fun too. Not. So there's a lot of changes that are happening, and it's just, you can see just based on what I said why it's taking me so long to, find a new normal with that. Yeah. Because even that first week, especially, from the time I got up in the morning to the time I went to bed at night, I was still dealing with homeschooling stuff. That's not the case now. but there's still a lot of like testing things out, seeing what works, and reevaluating things and changing plans because they're not working and stuff like that. Like even yesterday, I came up with a whole new plan that by the end of the day, I was like, this is not working. So I'm going to have to reevaluate it again already. But I'm getting there. And once we're there, we'll be okay. It's just taking me longer to get there than I really wanted to do. So that's a thing. But onward to the next point is Millwordy. I made a video a couple months ago now actually. I'm pretty certain I did it a long time ago. About how I had plans to do Millwordy. My actual aim was to write 500,000 words versus 1,000,000 words. And I wanted my main focus to be on projects that I wanted to publish this year. Like, I have 2 more books in the Damned and Dangerous Quartet. I have Damned and Deadly and Damned and Demonic that I have to finish and publish this year. And I wanted to have those both of them out by June. Because June 11th, I think, is the year anniversary of the original publication of the first book. And I wanted all 4 books done by then. The other series is the novella series Fire and Brimstone. I have the first one out, and I want to get the next 3 out by the end of this year. Demon Rider the first draft is written, but there was a bunch of plot holes that I was like, this is not working. So I took a bunch of notes on handwritten paper that I'm going to fill in some holes with, and I'm going to be rewriting that. That's actually what I'm working on now, is that rewrite. My original goal was to have that ready for publication by the end of February. It's now February 23rd, and it's not ready. So that's going to be coming out in March instead. And Damned and Deadly, which I wanted out in March, is probably not going to come out until April. And then I'll have until June to put the 4th one out. So there's that. I have been writing this year, but like my main focus has been projects that are coming out from dealing with other people. Like my QWA story, my Quarantine With anthology story, it has been in edits back and forth with an editor since I think I got my first round of edits back in December, but I didn't touch it until the beginning of the year. Just because it was so close to Christmas time when I got it, and I just didn't touch it. She just sent me her final edits this morning. She said, I don't think I need to see it again after this, which I thought was the last round of edits, honestly. So I've been calling it done, and it turns out it's not done. I haven't even opened the document to see what she changed and what she suggested. Wow, I can't speak today. So I need to do that. But that's pretty much done. And then I also was part of Orla Hart's AuthorTube audiobook anthology volume 2, which was a extremely fun project to take part of, and I can't wait to do the next one. So that's gonna be a thing. But those 2 things were definitely my focus at the beginning of the year, more so than anything I'm working on, because other people were depending on those projects versus me and my publication schedule. So yeah, that's an update there. I have a bunch of 10K days planned. Today originally was going to be a 10K day, but it's already like 1:30 in the afternoon, and I don't think it's gonna happen unless I do dictation, which I don't have the software installed to do dictation, so that's not gonna happen. I do want to start doing dictation though again. It's been a while since I've done some dictation, and I miss doing it, and I'm gonna do it again eventually. Today's not that day. 10K day is not today either. It's not in the cards. It's not going to happen. The other thing that we've been doing is I wanted to get some masterclasses done. And I did start to do one. I started on the Neil Gaiman one. I think I got into the 10th lesson. I think there was 17 of it. I would have to double check all my notes and stuff. But the one thing I'm noticing with the masterclass is that, at least with the Neil Gaiman one, it comes with a workbook. And there's enough similarities between the lessons and the workbook to correlate them. But you can almost tell that the workbook was added later versus made in conjunction with the lessons. If I remember right, when I first signed up for Masterclass, all it was the lessons. There was no workbooks involved. And the workbooks was something they started to add in at later dates. I could be wrong about this. Don't quote me on this. But if I am right, it's very obvious that Neil Gaiman's was one of the ones where he did the lessons, and then later they were like, oh, we need a workbook to go along with this. And someone just slapped a workbook together. that kind of had some similarities and a bunch of activities. I have not actually started doing the activities in the book yet, but it is on the to-do list. I kind of wanted to get the next 2 books done that I need to focus on for publication, you know, the ones I've already said that are coming out, before I focus on the workbook, because the workbook definitely gets more detailed into different writing projects that you're working on, and I want to be able to focus a particular writing project on that. I haven't decided which writing project yet, but I don't think it's going to be any books from the 2 series I've been working on. And since I want to get those 2 series done this year, I kind of need to focus on those first. So the workbook's going to have to wait. I will probably finish watching the Neil Gaiman Masterclasses just to knock them out. But I will not be doing the workbook. And I think when I do the workbook, I will read through each chapter, rewatch the lesson that goes along with that chapter, and then do the actual work for that chapter of the workbook. We'll see. I do plan on doing a separate video / vlog. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do it yet, just for the masterclass stuff as I actually work on it. But that's going to wait until I actually start working on it with the workbook, I think, instead of me trying to do a vlog that talks about me talking about the lessons like here, because I think there'll be more information when I start talking about the workbook lessons versus just what I'm learning from the lessons themselves. Makes sense? I think that makes sense. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. I have been busy, mostly with homeschooling stuff. And I'm still going to stay mostly busy with homeschooling stuff because North Carolina law requires them to do 5 hours of lessons a day. So, yeah. Sometimes we do less than that. Sometimes we do more than that. It all evens out in the end. We'll see what happens. But we're slowly getting there. And once we're actually on a track that actually works for us, it'll be much easier. And I can actually work on my stuff at the same time. Like, I'm filming this vlog right now while they're supposed to be working, and Grace is staring at me. I can see her past the camera. So, but yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Please stop shaking that table. You can tell her to do that all the time, and now you're doing it. Not cool. But, that's kind of what I've been working with, is just that. I do have more videos coming, regular videos. Mostly the book recommendations, because I had those filmed already. I did get behind in videos already. I got caught up, and then I didn't film or edit anymore, and yeah, that's on me. Oh, my leg was itchy. But, yeah. I have more videos coming. They will be here eventually, and I will be doing vlogs starting this week. I've already got a bunch of clips I said that I plan on putting together on the end of next week's vlog. So I do have plans to do vlogs. They just haven't been doing them. My goal is to do vlogs on Tuesdays, videos on Thursdays. So stay tuned. Hopefully I will actually get on track and get this stuff done. That being said, I can already tell you that if and when we move, as our plan is to do in late March, early April, I will not be putting vlogs up those weeks just because I will be moving, obviously. But I do have some videos that I plan to film, edit, and upload before then, so there will be some content still coming out on my channel then. But more updates on that when we get closer to that time period. I still have to kind of tie everything together and figure out what exactly the plan is first before I go into more detail than that. So, anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you like this video, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye, Dragonlings.